So guys, welcome to my Game Week 13 FPL preview video. Now, you have seen, hopefully, transfer tips video that is going to release on Friday afternoon. Now, I'm actually recording this straight after that one, also on Friday afternoon, but, it will only be released in the morning, so hopefully you see this before the deadline. Um, But in this video, we are going to be previewing uh, how FPL is looking for Game Week 13 and how I will be potentially lining up and who I may captain. Now, I won't disclose too much because some of my fiercest rivals follow this channel and I would not want them finding out about my future moves. But I will look through the best options without revealing who I am going for myself. Now, I forgot to mention Son quickly in the transfer tips video. If you have Son, I would be holding. I would probably not be selling unless it is for someone like Saka because given he got two returns in the Champions League in midweek, I think Saka could be a very enticing option. But on to the actual preview. And first of all, I think that this isn't my team, but I think that my actual team isn't lining up too badly for game week 13. Now, if I go to points, so we can see my players without seeing who I'm captaining. Um, for example, Trippier, who I bought, I'm not sure why I bought him, that was a mistake. But Trippier plays Man United, whose defence hasn't been stellar, so to speak, and it is at home. So I think Trippier could get maybe a couple of attacking returns in that game. Meanwhile, Anderson is a great option. Anderson plays West Ham, and West Ham might be without Bowen. And if they are, I think there's a very possible clean sheet for them in that game, for Crystal Palace, I mean. And then after that, they play Bournemouth. So at least for 2 more weeks, Anderson seems like a fine option. On to the other side of the defence, and we've got Gabriel there. Now, I think Gabriel's potential for resting is massively overplayed. I think he plays around 9 of every 10 games, and he's got some good next two fixtures coming up right off a 6 pointer against Brentford. He's got Wolves at home and Luton away next, and while Luton are a much better team at Kenilworth Road, they also don't score much there. It's more about keeping the door shut into their own back, into their own net. And as a result, I think we could see a narrow 1-0 or 2-0 win for Arsenal there, but we will see closer to the actual game. Now, if we move into the midfield, and this is where things get exciting, because Gordon just delivered a 13-pointer for me, right when I needed it most, right when I was in despair. Gordon came through for me against my own club, Chelsea, scored a goal and got an assist with an XGI of just 0.37, and now he plays a very leaky Man United backline before going to Everton and then a Spurs team that may or may not be without Romero and will probably be without Van der Ven. So I am very excited about having him as one of my differentials. Now, as they got injured, and do not be misguided by 25%, there is a 0% chance that he plays this game, and Crystal Palace's doctors have said that it will be around 3 to 4 weeks before Eze steps foot onto the pitch with his teammates again. So please do not listen to 25% chance of playing because that is not true. And I would probably advise to sell or bench depending who is on your bench. Now Salah got 5 points and I probably should have captained him because the more eagle-eyed among you would have noticed that I captained Son. And you can imagine my anger when he has 3 goals ruled out for offside. Either way, Salah managed an assist in a 0-0 draw against City, but what is concerning is that he had 0.00 expected goals, and I'm not sure why no one is talking about this. Everyone was all over Haaland when he has 0.00 goals in expected goals, earlier in the season in the game. But Salah gets a return when he has 0.0 expected goals, and I haven't heard a single person talk about it, so that is quite worrying. However, what is not worrying are his upcoming fixtures, with Fulham at home and then Sheffield United and Crystal Palace away in the next three, and guaranteed that he'll play every minute. I think Salah is a great captaincy option over these 3 weeks, and in the top two each week, potentially the best for all three, but more on that later. We're not going to talk about Son. And, okay, I'm joking. So, Son, um, was very unlucky. Fellow owners and captainers are probably not very happy right now, especially given an XGI of 0.68 without including the three offside goals. And still, he delivered nothing against Aston Villa's high line, which looks so promising. Now, he has blanked in 3 games in a row, and while this is worrying, I wouldn't really be selling, as I said, unless it's to buy someone like Saka or Salah if you somehow don't have the Egyptian. Furthermore, I think Man City also play a high line, and although that didn't go great against Villa, at least Son is making the right runs, and that is a small form of consolation. But either way, Son is a great player, and I think he's fixture proof, so I would be very tempted to hold, although selling for the right player could also be a masterstroke. Now, Darwin only got 1 point, but he had an expected goal of 0.43, unlike Salah, and I think, obviously, like Salah, he has great upcoming fixtures. Now, a word of warning: Darwin will probably only play 2 of these 3 fixtures, potentially one, but definitely not all three, because 2 of them are away from home. And although he got rested in the Europa League, and that's why I expect him to start against Fulham, I wouldn't be so sure about Sheffield and Palace. So, buy him at your own risk. Now, Watkins has been injured, and we did cover him relatively in depth in the transfer tips video. But as I said, my gut feeling is he starts, and if you think he starts, like me, I think you should play him because Bournemouth away is a pretty good fixture, especially for someone fixture proof like Watkins. I also think that Watkins isn't a very good captaincy option because despite what we saw against Brighton when he got 23 points and against West Ham when he got 11, Watkins is a sort of player to just take along and not really get massive hauls as we've seen in past seasons. Maybe this is an indicator that things are changing, but as you can see from this data here, since game week 8 he has 2 5 pointers and 1 6 pointer as well as 2 blanks, which shows that he will tick along nicely, but probably not get too many big hauls. Apart from that, he also has tough games coming up next. And if you want him for that Sheffield at home fixture in game week 18 and your team is in good shape, you could buy him back later. Now on to Haaland, and why I didn't captain him is a mystery. 0.73 expected goals against Liverpool, so I'm probably lucky that he didn't come away with more. But I'm feeling pretty unlucky as it is right now. There's literally nothing else to say. He is a robot, and do not doubt this man or robot. And now he plays against Spurs at home, without Romero, without Van de Ven. And in the upcoming section, we're going to talk about why he could be a great captaincy option. So, on to captaincy. And I only really see 2 options here for anyone, not just for my team, for the whole wider player base. Salah, despite his 0.00 XG against Man City, plays against Fulham at home. Now, Fulham have been meeky, and Anfield is a very, very tough place to go. So, I only see this game ending one way, and that is 4-0 to Liverpool. On the other hand, Fulham did, with the help of VAR, shock us against Wolves, and I do think that maybe they can control their defence. But let's be real, they're not going to. Salah's going to score a hat trick, and anyone who doesn't have him is going to end up crying. But in all seriousness, I do think that Captain Salah is a great option this week. I think a case could be made to captain him and to captain Haaland because they're both such good players. I think they're amazing options, and honestly, I'm split 50-50 on this debate. As of Friday, the 1st of December at 8:34 p.m., I have no idea who's going to be my captain by the end of the deadline. I'm not even trying to hide it. I genuinely don't know who to go for. On the flip side, we've got Haaland. Now, Haaland has 23 points in his last two games against Chelsea and Liverpool. Now, that might not be much given the state of Chelsea right now, but he plays a Spurs defence that doesn't have their first two choice centre backs. And we've seen from Postecoglou that Spurs are going to play the way they do, with a high line against anyone, no matter the potential consequences, as we saw against Chelsea. No matter the opponent, Postecoglou will continue to play his high line. And although I love that bravery from him, it's probably not going to end well against a relentless City team who put who put six past Bournemouth, sorry, not so long ago. So, as I said with Salah, either of them are great options. I think they're gonna both do really well. They're both probably going to score similar points totals, but do not be surprised if either or both of them score a hat trick. Now, as for my actual game week in game week 13, 12, I finished with 46 points, which was quite disappointing, and I dropped to 711k, which is significantly below where I was early in the season and where I want to be. Now, I think that ranks and people are closer together right now than at most seasons at this stage, because what normally happens is by game week 10, if realistically, if you're not in the top 500k and you're outside the top million as well, you're probably not getting to around 200k, 100k. But this season, I mean, I have personally witnessed some amazing comebacks already, and I really think that even if we're around 2 million right now, with all the games we have left, with all the blanks and doubles and twists and turns to come, I think really anyone can make it into the top 10k. Maybe not the top 10k, but I think anyone can make it into the top 100k, potentially the top 50k. And I really think that there's a lot to play for anyone, no matter where you are right now in terms of your overall rank. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful in any way, shape or form, please leave a comment, and also what types of videos would you like next, and did you enjoy watching my transfer tips videos? Thank you very much.